Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of In Conversation by Advisorkhoj. Today in conversation, our guest is Mr. Vikash Wadekar, Head of Passive Business with Axis Mutual Fund. Welcome, Vikash, to In Conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Surain, and happy to be here.
Our pleasure. So, Vikash, before we dive in, if you could just tell our viewers something about yourself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's been 24 years in the industry. Started my career in 2001 with Island FS. In fact, my complete career changed when I joined Benchmark Mutual Fund in 2007, which was pioneer of ETF and indexing. It's 18, 19 years with passive, and learned a lot about basics about passive. What ETFs. We taught industry what ETFs, how to trade and all. So that's been my background here with Axis, almost 1.5 year now. Prior to that, I was with Motilal Oswal AMC looking at passive for 5 years. So passive is a passion for me, I can say.
So, we are talking to someone who's actually been part of the passive business for a very, very long time.
Yes, I launched gold ETF also, gold bees, if you
Oh, yeah, that
yeah,
back then, of
way back
course.
in 2007.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, absolutely.
First gold ETF. Yeah.
So, Vikash, Axis Mutual Fund is launching their Axis Nifty 500 Quality 50 Index Fund on the 21st of August and closing on the 4th of September. So,
Right.
could you take our viewers a bit more about this index fund and why the concept of Quality 50?
Right.
Was there any back testing done? What was the result uh,
Right.
of this back testing? And of course, the entire concept around the Quality 50.
Sure. So I'll take you through. Yeah. So for passive, most of the people they understand broad-based indices, which is maybe Sensex or Nifty 100 or Nifty 500. You're buying the entire universe of it, right? But after the introduction of factor investing, if I can simplify the word factor, it's nothing but the style investing. So far was always available with an active manager, whether it is value investing, whether it is quality investing, right? But with the introduction of factor investing, where you are using a mathematical model, which is very simplified model. Okay, you pick up any universe, maybe a top 100 stock, top 200 stocks. In our case, we are taking, or in fact, this Nifty index is taking the top 500 stocks as a universe, which is the base universe. And in that universe, you pick up top 50 stocks which are considered to be highest quality in nature. Right now, how do you define this quality? You also have worked for a long time in the industry. You understand that every fund manager has a different definition of quality, right? The basics may be same, but it's never a pure quality what you get, because they will look at valuation, they will also look at sectoral allocation, they'll also look at promoters, company, and then they build the portfolio. Everything has to fit in each fund manager's framework, investment framework. Okay, so it's not only quality what you get the entire combination, along with value and other factors and parameters as well. But when you come to index investing or passive investing, it's very, very simple. It's very clean to understand, because as I mentioned, it's a 500 stock universe. You pick up top 50 stocks based on three parameters, okay, which are largely known as the barometer for quality investing, which is your ROE. Okay, your return on equity has to be highest amongst 500 stocks. Okay, your leverage ratio has to be lowest amongst your universe, and your EPS consistency, which is your
Mhm.
EPS for last 5 years, has to be consistently better ratio amongst all 500 stocks. Okay, so that talks about your cash flow is not going towards loan repayment, is actually you're using in the business. Your return on equity is highest. Your EPS growth is consistent. These are the only three parameters which you look for all the 500 stocks, and the best of the 50 stocks become part of this index.
I see.
So it's very simple for anybody to understand. And again, it's a transparent portfolio. Once the rebalance happens, the portfolio remains for another 6 months.
Hmm. So, what is
That's
the rebalancing time period?
So it's 6 months, June and December. So
June
every
and
6 months, you look at 500 stocks again and look at these three parameters. Again, these three parameters are given equal weight. That was 33% weight given to ROE, leverage ratio, and the EPS consistency. And the best of the quality stocks become part of this portfolio.
Sure. And what has been the backtesting result?
Yeah, so backtesting result has been fantastic. In fact, when we talk about quality, I'll just touch upon why we
Hmm.
look at quality.
And also,
Because
if you could probably throw some light on the stock selection process as well.
yeah, sure, definitely. So when we talk about quality, whether it is we want to buy a phone or whether we want to buy a car or whether we want to build a house, right? We always look for the best of the material, best of the features, right? Same thing when you look at building portfolios, you look at the strong balance sheet. Okay, that is the only filter. There is no
Hmm.
further filter on the sectoral side. There is no further filter on the company screening or a promoter screening. Okay, that's and not only the also there is no caps restriction. Cap means large cap, mid cap, small cap restriction. It's a pure flexi cap portfolio.
I see.
That means every 6 months, it may happen. Like I'll tell you example, 2019, this portfolio had 80% of the stocks coming out of large cap universe. Okay, and only 20% coming from mid and small cap universe. Today, this portfolio has 65% coming from mid and small cap universe, and only 35% stocks coming from large cap universe.
Right.
Okay, so there is no cap in the restriction in the cap wise. There is no restriction on any particular sector. You just look at three parameters, and these stocks become part of your portfolio. Now, if you look at performance has been very consistent. If I talk about long-term performance, 15 years, this has delivered 15.5% CAGR return. Okay,
Hmm.
5 years, more than 22% return. Okay, if you compare this with Nifty 50, Nifty 50 has around 19%, whereas 22% for 5 years, and 15 years, 12% versus 15.5%.
Sure.
But
Sure.
interestingly, the standard deviation is actually 10 to 15%. In some instances, it's 20% lower than Nifty 50 and Nifty
Hmm.
500 also.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
So it's a better risk-adjusted return what you get in this portfolio.
Sure. Anything also sector diversity as well about this portfolio?
Yeah, absolutely. So currently there are 10 sectors this portfolio covers. If you look at Nifty 50 has around 14 sectors,
Hmm.
Nifty 500 has around 21 sectors covered. But this is covered, this particular industry index is covering around 10 sectors, and it's
Yes.
very well diversified. So
Right.
industrials are around 21%, financial services around 18%, IT 16%. In case surprisingly, the number one sector is industrial here. Okay.
Hmm.
Followed by financial, IT, FMCG 13%, energy 11%, consolidation 9%. So very well diversified. It is not a concentrated portfolio at all. Okay. And importantly, the companies which you get, okay, are also very different. When you talk about financial services, generally we end up looking at all the big banks, right? But here you get wealth management companies like 360, Anand Rathi, Angel One, your Motilal. AMCs you get SDFC, Nippon Life,
Hmm.
CDSL,
Hmm.
Energy Exchange, okay, CRISIL. So it's a different portfolio altogether when we look at quality as compared to any active portfolio. You'll be also surprised the number one stock in this portfolio is Coal India. Okay, now we look at PSUs are as a value companies, but the balance sheet of Coal India is also as good as a quality, right?
Right.
So you
Right.
are getting combination of both in this.
Hmm. Wonderful. So basically, out of the 21 sectors available in the Nifty 500, about 10 are selected out of
Then,
this through
correct.
the parameters, what you just mentioned for the quality 50 index fund. And of course, like the back testing is definitely showed a great result as well. So
Correct.
any newer distribution initiatives? How do you plan to distribute this fund?
Right.
Because generally index funds, yes, retail investors are definitely getting into them, but more tilted towards institutional investors. So how do you plan to do that?
Yeah, I think this is also a good question. So also let's understand where does quality fit in
Hmm.
investor portfolio,
Hmm.
right? As I mentioned, we always look for quality in anything and everything which we do, which we buy for our consumption. Why not for investing, right? So this is a portfolio which fits in clients' core portfolio. So you can hold this portfolio for next 20 years, and you can have other strategies in and around it. Okay. because this has very defensive stocks like FMCG, consumer discretionary, IT, financials. In any market swings, whether it's COVID-19 or whether it is yuan devaluation or global financial crisis, we have seen it actually resisting
Mm.
from market fall. So if you
Hmm.
fall less, definitely when market recovers, you have to also recover less, right? And that combination has always seen all financial four crises which we have seen after 2001. Quality has actually delivered better. So this is ideal for retail as well as institution. They always look for best portfolios, but along with quality portfolio, you get a lot of differentiation in this. As I
Hmm.
mentioned, most of the quality portfolio will be large cap tilted, right? Here, and these are all typical names you might see will be common in most of the portfolios, but it is not.
Hmm.
Your sectors are different, your companies are different. If I can name, when you talk about capital goods, you will get ACE, Apar Industries, Bharat Electronics, CG Power. FMCG, you get Britannia, Imami, Gillette, Marico. Okay, IT, you get Coforge, KPIT, L&T. Why I'm reading these names? Because this is a completely complementary portfolio if you want to make an active passive combination as well.
Sure,
You want to
sure.
look at active quality and also passive quality. So this is not an overlapping strategy.
Right.
Okay, so this is a complementary strategy. You're adding different stocks, different and but at the same time they are flexi cap, and at the same time they are quality also.
Mm-hmm.
So retail, I would say, ideally they should look at a plain vanilla product. But if any distributor is actually now above minimum threshold and wants to add quality in client's portfolio, or value add in portfolio, this portfolio makes sense. Institutions, definitely this makes sense because this will always give you cushion, and always you are at the best of the portfolio, best of the stocks in the entire universe.
Sure. So pretty much a sector agnostic, market cap agnostic, a very flexi cap in nature,
Absolutely.
quality 50 stocks through this.
Absolutely.
So one question, since you've been part of the passive business for most part of your career, okay,
Right.
where does Vikash invest his money? Are you more a passive investor or a active investor?
Yeah.
And could you also highlight for our audience some of the benefits of investing in a passive fund?
Yeah, sure, sure. As I said, 2007, my entire career dynamics changed when I moved to passive.
Hmm.
And those days, it was our only bread and butter because the only AMC which was selling only passive,
Right.
right? So it was bread and butter. We
Much
learned
ahead of its time. Let me
much
also
ahead
say
of
that.
its time. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And we learned so much that, my entire philosophy, my entire portfolio is from 2007 onward is passive. Okay. With passive, with only investing passive, I built my house in Bombay. I
Hmm.
bought car. Okay, that was one single fund. But I would, and yeah, so for investors and for advisors, I would recommend why they should look at passive. One is simplicity.
Hmm.
Okay, now I understand there are 500 schemes in passive also, 500 plus in active also. But we have to understand we are catering to what, 5.5 crore investors, right? In 148 crore investor. So simplicity is the key. Use passive to acquire client, reach
Hmm.
out to more investors. It's not only about commissions, but it's about simplicity, right?
Right.
If I am meeting 10 clients, how many I am able to convert? 8, 10, or only one or two?
Hmm.
If I
Hmm.
am using a lot of jargons, if I talk about, and you don't understand, make it very simple, right? Like, this investment philosophy should be understood by your maid and mother. That's how I talk it. And how
Hmm.
can you tell them? You tell them, Mama, I am investing your money in India's top 100 stocks.
Hmm.
Would you like it? It's so simple, right? Rather than, we're talking about a lot of jargons. But since this factor investing has come up, so far it was all broad based, you're getting market returns. Factor has a potential to generate better risk adjusted return. That means your
Hmm.
returns will also better than broader indices, and risk also lower, right? So that alpha which you were looking at in passive as delivered by factors. So if you are not exposed to factors, I am requesting all our partners, all our MFD partners, if you're not understood, you're not studied, please do study it. These are the future of investing. Okay, I'm not saying they are the only thing, but they are the future. You should start learning, but keep it simple. It will help you to grow your business I have seen industry has seen last 4 or 5 years, lot of MFDs have started only focusing on passive and reach 100 crore faster. These 150 crore, 200 crore, now they started selling active. Right. So this is a smart move also can be to acquire new clients because not many people are in that line, right? So you become differentiator. Right. So this is smartly we have to use active, passive. I think we shouldn't get into that debate. Use it what you like it. 148 crore, 5.5 crore, long way to go,
A long
right?
way to
So
go.
long way to go. So use passive smartly to reach out to client acquisition and increase your AUM. That's why you should look at passive.
Sure, sure, sure. Any quick message you want to give to financial advisors, mutual fund distributors, investors about your new fund offer?
Yeah. So I'll put it in two parts. I understand Advisorkhoj is doing fantastic job because we only talk about metros, but the moment you leave metros, money is still going into these all Ponzi schemes, right? Investors are not aware where to invest. I think there is no better portfolio, a better product. Whether it is cost efficient, whether it is transparency, the regulatory, it's so very good portfolio, right? So mutual fund is the best product for anybody, to manage their retirements or any goal planning, right? So I request all our partners try to reach out to maximum investors and use passive to acquire new clients. And now we are launching quality. Okay, so far you heard about quality in active strategy. There is a different flavor in quality through passive approach also, again with a flexi cap approach, because it's coming from 500 viewers. This can become part of your client's portfolio. So smartly you have to also select which can become part of your client's portfolio. Core should be passive, and if you are looking at if you understand quality more, I think you can keep this portfolio as a quality, as a core, and use other products and other styles as a satellite approach, and help investors to reach their goal.
Perfect, perfect. So, well, for our viewers, this is Mr. Vikash Wadekar from Axis Mutual Fund, heading their passive business, talking about their new fund launch, Axis Nifty 500 Quality 50 Index Fund on the 21st of August and closing on the 4th of September. I think Vikash very well put across that why Quality 50 index portfolio makes sense in a client's portfolio with all the factors which are instated for this portfolio, etc. So thank you very much for taking us through the concept, the back testing, the screening process, and why a passive fund should be there in a client's portfolio. So thank you very much for sparing out time to have this conversation with us today.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much.